But let me start by welcoming everyone again, starting with Mr. AD, of course, as the highest ranking officer in the meeting, and greetings also to our visitors. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us and also for participating in the program as speakers and other roles as well. And warm welcome also to our guests, in case we have guests already. Okay, I see we have a few guests. And also without forgetting our DM members of the club. Good evening. It's a Friday evening. Again, we are gathering for our second meeting of the month, 26th of April. And I'm looking at the program. Our theme this evening, we are celebrating Freedom Day. It's the 26th. Freedom Day, as you all know, as South Africans, will be tomorrow. That is the 27th of April. So as much as we have said just now that we are monitored, please feel free to be yourself, enjoy your time, enjoy yourself, and hopefully you'll gain as much as you want and learn as much as you can. Hopefully that's what is going to happen to you all. A few apologies. First and foremost, our SAA, he can't make it this evening, and that's why we didn't start off with the introductory video or technical video for briefings. And I will also notify you all, as well as our grammarian on the program. So this is also combined with program information. Our grammarian is here, apologies, but it's only our accountant who's not with us. So perhaps if she is okay, or Madam Grammarian, to do that part for us, to combine those roles as they sometimes go hand in hand, we'll appreciate that. So this is a word of warm welcome to everyone. We are Visionary Readers Toastmasters Club. We have just celebrated our 1-year anniversary just last month. We are still going strong and learning day by day as a fairly new kid in the block in the District 74, Southern Africa. So our main tenet, or our main focus as visionary readers, we are all about promoting the culture of reading with a mission which we borrowed from our book club, as most of you are part of it. We have a mission to promote the reading culture within the African continent and beyond, with a vision to see each and every bookshelf within the African continent and beyond, each and every home within the African continent to have a bookshelf. And as long as that bookshelf is bigger than their television screen, we are happy. Taking it back to our theme tonight, without forgetting, of course, there are so many books that share something about how you can gain your own freedom as your own, but reading, according to this quote in the program today, is one of those things that can liberate your mind in all other spheres of your life as well. It's by Frederick Douglass, who says, once you learn to read, you will be free forever. Freedom and reading, they go hand in hand. Without taking more time, fellow Toastmasters, in the program, at this point, I would like to hand over with those words of warm welcome to our Toastmaster of the evening, who is also in transit, to share this ship, and then we will hear from her. At this point, I would like to hand over to our Toastmaster of the evening, Sibongile Mtsweni. Over to you, ma'am.
Woo, woo! Visionaries, Toastmasters. Good evening, everyone. As our IPP has already given the theme of our meeting, we are celebrating Freedom Day. And as you heard from an author, that reading can make you free forever. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to understand from you, you can please put it on the chat, what does freedom mean to you? Forget Freedom Day for South Africa, but what does the word freedom mean to you? Now, I'm not running this show all by myself. I have the GE, which is the General Evaluator, Madam General, who will come to the virtual podium and introduce her team because she's also not working alone. Madam General Evaluator, you look so beautiful tonight. I hope you match my energy because I'm excited to be here. This is my home and the people are warm. Please come to the virtual podium and describe your role and also introduce your team.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. For a Friday evening, I wish I had the same energy levels that you have. but I will try to match your energy. This is my second home. I am a visitor from Visionary Leaders Toastmasters Club. And with me today, I have a team of very capable members that will ensure that we run our meetings seamlessly. As we know at Toastmasters, there are certain things that we pride ourselves with. And one of those is professionalism and being able to articulate through our grammar, through the English language, but also make sure that we keep to time, because time is really of the essence. So I will be introducing my team that I have with me today that will help steer the ship as we celebrate Freedom Day and as we are here together, making sure that I think ultimately that the goal is for us to improve our communication and our leadership skills. I would like to introduce the first role for today. They will come to the podium and introduce their role and what the essence of their role will be for tonight. And I would like to welcome Maleshonolo Tsie, who is going to be our grammarian as well as our AHA counter tonight. Maleshonolo, over to you.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, visitors, and guests. I'm not sure, Madam Program Director or General Evaluator, if that would be correct, because my role today is to evaluate a speech. Perhaps there's a miscommunication somewhere. Maybe we could just please check that. I'm only evaluating a speech tonight.
Thanks for that, Maleshonolo. I have it in my agenda as the grammarian and the AHA counter. I do see a visitor, though, from another club that I would probably like to ask if they could assist. However, I do see Mr. President, Acting President, you had your hand up. Not sure if you wanted to just come in there.
Oh, yes, I think maybe I forgot to give Madam Treasurer Maleshonolo a heads up. In addition to being an evaluator, I put maybe tentatively as our grammarian, but it's okay if we have another visitor who can take on that role. We'll appreciate it.
Okay. Maybe at this point, I would ask Ms. Clementine, would you be able or in a position to be our grammarian and our counter tonight?
Yes, I can be the grammarian for tonight, but I am not sure I understand the second row.
So that's the counter. Maybe just focus for tonight on the grammarian role. That should be fine as well.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Do you mind just briefly giving our audience, our guests, and our members what the role of a grammarian is and what you will be looking at for tonight?
Okay, good evening. Sorry, my manners. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and our Toastmaster. So my role tonight will be checking for your speech, how you speak, how you articulate yourself firstly, and if there's use of filler words like you know, when you are speaking, and also if you are using the word of the day or the theme of the day, the words that are within the theme of the day as well. So this is my role for today. I hope everyone understands the role. Thank you, Madam Kulani.
Madam General Evaluator. Thank you, Clementine, for that. Ladies and gentlemen, at Toastmasters, one of the things that I've learned is that we have what we call table topics or impromptu speeches. And as much, if you are a Toastmaster, you should always be ready to take on any role, because even though we are visiting today Visionary Readers Toastmasters Club, we are ultimately one body, meaning that we all form part of Toastmasters International and should be able to assist each other to reach our goals. Thank you, Clementine, for agreeing to take on that role impromptu. I would now like to ask our table topics master for tonight, Ms. Anna Costa, to please come to the podium and introduce her role for tonight. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters, our distinguished guest, Mr. Area Director, as well as our valued guests and visitors this evening to Visionary Readers Toastmasters Club. The portion of table topics is the most exciting session of tonight, I have to say. In this segment, we will be challenging all members to participate because we'd like to give every attendee the opportunity to speak and to contribute towards this evening's meeting. Secondly, we are going to be challenging our impromptu communication skills, which means thinking on your feet. So I'm looking very forward to the latter part of this evening's segment, and I encourage you to use the word of the day at the time that table topics is upon us. And I also do encourage volunteers instead of me picking out someone from the crowd. So over to you, Madam Toastmaster, for the evening, and thanks so much for the introduction.
Thank you, Ms. Anna. You are handing back over to the General Evaluator. Thank you so much. We learn as we go and we grow as we learn. Thank you so much for that. I would now like to call upon our area director, who is taking the role of timekeeper for tonight, and put him under pressure in terms of him telling us his role and how he's going to ensure that we finish the meeting at the set time. Over to you, sir.
I'm muted. Yes, sorted. Let me just change my background quickly. I can see I've got a very darkish background here. Okay, I'll sort that one later. Thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity to be your timer. We know that in Toastmasters, time is very important. It's one of the things that Toastmasters teaches us, that we stick to time and do things in a very orderly way. Without any further ado, I will be timing all the speakers that will be taking a visual podium tonight. And how I'm going to do it, I'm going to use the different backgrounds. I'm going to show you just now. Okay, I'm going to use green when if there's a, okay, I need to check my agenda properly. But as a 6-minute speech, what I'm going to do is at 5 minutes, I'll turn on my green, and at 5.5 minutes, I will turn on my amber, and at 6 minutes, I will turn on my red background. For a 7-minute speech, I will turn my green at 6 minutes. 6.5 minutes, I'll turn my amber, and at 7 minutes, I'll turn on my red background. And on table topics, which are 2 minutes, at 1 minute, I'll turn on my green. 1.5 minutes, I'll turn on my amber. At 2 minutes, and then I'll turn on my red. And lastly, during the evaluations, which are given between 2 and 3 minutes, at 2 minutes, I'll turn on my green. 2.5, I'll turn on my amber. At 3 minutes, I'll turn on my red. Thank you so much. That's what my role will entail. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Area Director. I hope everyone was paying careful attention to those time limits, because I think sometimes we just think it's just the backgrounds that are changing, but what's also key is when you enter competitions and contests, this really counts, and whether you go over your time can count against you in a contest. So it's very key to note the times and always stick to the times, because as we all know, time lost can never be regained. Ladies and gentlemen, that completes the end of my task for tonight as General Evaluator. I will be also evaluating just the general performance of the meeting for tonight. I would like now to hand over back to our Toastmaster for the evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator and your team. That was beautifully done. Unfortunately, I did not hear the word of the day from the
Right,
Primary.
maybe I can take over, Madam Toastmaster.
Okay. You may take over, Dr. C. Williamson.
Right, apologies. Am I missing something, Madam Toastmaster of the evening?
Oh, you said you wanted to take over. I didn't understand whether you're taking over my session or which part. No problem. I'll continue.
Please continue. Sorry, I got kicked out.
No problem. I love the technological challenges we are having today. Firstly, they afforded me time to be able to get home so I can continue with my road. Otherwise, it's all fun. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, I asked you a question earlier on when I came to the podium, and I asked you, what does freedom mean to you? And I've got Malihlo Honolo who answered and said, freedom to her means getting rid of all restrictions and inhibitions. And I wondered, what does that mean? Does that mean the rules as well? But we'll have a discussion, Malihlo Honolo, about it. And we had Jessica Ndlapo as well, answering the question, saying, being who you are without having to apologize for your existence here on planet Earth. And that one vibed with me. And I thought, yes, girl. Yes, yes. Without wasting time, I just want to confirm with Dr. Sibu, do we have speakers tonight? Looking at the agenda, I don't see speakers. Dr. Sibo? Madam Table Topics, yes.
Good evening. Just speaking for Dr. Sibo, we have 3 speakers this evening. If you look at your agenda, alongside the main tablet or table, you have a little section with prepared speeches, and there are 4 names there. Kuhle Kwija has cancelled, unfortunately, but we have Gabriel Moshe, Rulani Mabina, and Sibongizeni Mukolozeli.
Rulani and Sibongizeni. All right. Thank you so much for that confirmation, Madam Table Topics Master. Now we will go to our, firstly, let me describe our program. Our program will be in 3 sessions. We will have prepared speeches, and then we will have table topics. Thereafter, we will end with evaluations. So I would like to call our first speaker. I heard the name Gabriel. I'm not sure who is evaluating Gabriel.
I am. Table topics.
Perfect. I would like to call upon Anna Costa to the virtual podium, who will be our first evaluator, evaluating Gabriel. Anna, please come to the virtual podium and give us Gabriel's speech objectives. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster of the evening. So Gabriel Moshe this evening is delivering a speech titled Men's Conference. The purpose of this project is for the member to develop and practice a personal strategy for building connections through networking. The purpose of this speech this evening is for the member to share some aspect of his or her experience networking. So this evening, Gabriel Moshe will deliver a well-organized speech that includes a story or stories about the networking experience and the value of networking or some other aspect of his experience whilst doing this project. The speech will not be a report on the actual content of the project. So I'll be looking at clarity, vocal variety, eye contact, gestures, comfort level, interest, the topic itself, and audience awareness. So good, all the best for Gabriel this evening, and we look forward to listening to his speech.
Thank you so much, Anna, for describing those objectives for Gabriel. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Gabriel Moshe with the speech title, The Men's Conference. Gabriel Moshe with the speech title, The Men's Conference. Over to you, Gabriel.
Men's Conference. That's the social media. And if one can look on what is being posted on social media, one can get confused about the meaning of main conference. There's two types of main conference. There's a fake main conference and there's a real main conference. I'll start with the fake main conference. Early this year on Valentine's Day, after work, I had to rush to the near supermarket to buy a box of chocolate and flowers for my wife. When I got to Pick and Pay and I got to the aisle, there was no chocolates on the aisle. To be specific, there was no Ferrero Rocher. That's my wife's favorite chocolate. And there was no flowers. So I was in trouble. Then I went to this store. We usually classify it as an expensive store, which is Woolworths. And when I got to the store, I managed to get the box of chocolate and I managed to get the flowers. And the funny thing, I met a colleague of mine. He was also going to buy the chocolate and the flowers. And when he saw me, he laughed at me and then he said, "We're in trouble." As I go out of the shop, I met a few friends of mine in the mall. And when they saw me with the flowers and the box of chocolate, they laughed at me. And they said they're gonna report me on the next men's conference. So I've been waiting to be called in for the men's conference, and I'm waiting for the sitting so that they can address that I saw them on this year's men's conference that I bought a box of chocolate and flowers. Then there's a real men's conference that I would like to talk about. Well, this men's conference has always been there in the olden days. In my culture, in Sesotho, we used to call it Lekgotla. And during Lekgotla, there will be a chief, and he will have this. You call the people on the village to come to the Lekgotla, and the people who invited to this sitting is only men. And they'll go inside the crowd and they'll discuss issues pertaining to business. Like our forefathers, they were farmers. So they used to come and just talk about their cows and also talk about how can they expand, and they'll talk about diseases that are affecting their cows. And older boys will be called inside the crowd, but it's mainly men who are ready to get married. So they'll be there in the crowd and they'll they will be discussing the issue of engagement or lobola. So it's mainly what used to happen was that men used to get together and give advice to one another. Yes, I like White Mutati Jerome Fuken. If you follow him on social media, he's usually talking about the main conference. And most of the time, what he's discussing about is talking about the issue of depression. So they'll be discussing issues about depression. And because if you check the stats of our country, most men are affected by this disease. So he likes to even go to our SABC radio stations like Lesedi FM and give men about advices. And he always on the radio 2000 with his wife, and they talk about marriages. So I like what he has done and what he's trying of depression. And also a while back, there was one of our gentlemen that passed away, pretty shy. Pretty shy used to be, as I was growing up, we used to see him on Yizo Yizo, Soul City.
Is it just on my side, ladies and gentlemen, that Gabriel is frozen? Oh, thanks. Thanks for confirming, Anna. Thank you. I thought it was just on my side. In any case, Gabriel, I hope you come back and we can listen to the rest of that speech. That was very touching. And I love the humor that you started with at the beginning with the fake conference. And I thought, yeah, Ferrero Rochers are also my favorite. I think I'd also be mad if they are not on the shelves. And then your second part with the real conference, that touches my heart. That is something that I value, as I have brothers at home and I see them struggling every single day with a whole lot of life challenges, life issues. And I know that I cannot help them and I wish I could find them help. And sometimes I don't know where to go to. So it'd be interesting to find out from you where the help is so I can perhaps just slide it into their pockets somewhere and hopefully they do actually heed the call for them to go find help. Ladies and gentlemen, without wasting time, I would like now to call upon our second evaluator, who is Dr. Sibongiseni Nkolozeli. Dr. Sibongiseni will be evaluating Rulani Mabina. Dr. Sibongiseni, please come to the virtual podium and describe Rulani's speech objectives. Over to you. Is Dr. Sibu struggling with net? Is he still with us? Let me just quickly check. Yeah, I can see him. Can you guys hear me? Can somebody just say something? Maybe
I hear
sing?
you.
All
Now
right.
we
Thank
can
you
hear
so
you.
much. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. I'm going to move from Dr. Sibu while he sorts himself out there and go to our third speaker. I'm not sure how we're going to do this because our third speaker is Dr. Sibongiseni Mgolezeli himself, who will be evaluated by Malihla Honolo. Malihla Honolo, if you would please come to the virtual podium and give us Dr. Sibu's speech objectives.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests again. I am Malishona Latia, and tonight I was supposed to be evaluating Dr. Sibo, but unfortunately he has popped me a WhatsApp text to say that his connection is quite bad and he will perhaps look at maybe rescheduling his speech delivery. Okay.
All right, that's noted. Do you perhaps have Rulani's speech and level title?
No, I don't. I had Dr. Sibo's only.
Okay, hold on. I think I've got something that was sent to me. I will introduce her myself.
Okay.
Rulani, you've got the privilege of being introduced by me. Let's see. Rulani Mabina is on the third pathway, first speech. Pathway is strategic relationships, and the title is Let's Talk. That is the third level of the pathway. I won't be evaluating you. All of us are going to be evaluating you in the absence of your evaluator. So you've got the privilege of being introduced by the Toastmaster of the evening and the privilege of being evaluated by all participants in this meeting. Rulani with the speech titled, Let's Talk. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Strategic relationships. That was the topic of the pathway that I chose for my second pathway with Toastmasters. Very excited to learn about how can I strategically make relationships and also just influence people strategically. Little did I know what I got myself into. Firstly, this pathway was outside my comfort zone, and I challenged myself to do something that would really challenge what I thought I had mastered in Toastmasters. As I was thinking about the next project for my pathway level 3, I received an email. Great. This was the best email that could help me advance my project in terms of level 1 of my pathway. There I was looking at this email. It's a networking session. Gibbs Business School is inviting me to a networking session where you'll be able to talk and meet other industry people or colleagues that you could build relationships with. Quickly sent my syndicate or my team members a message. Guys, here's a great opportunity. Let's make this work for us. After all, we're paying quite a fortune. So let's go network. Everyone was in. They were ready to come along with me to this business networking session. Lo and behold, on the day of the networking session, I'm excited. I've got my day planned out, and I text them, are we still on? And yes, you guessed right. The first team member, well, I can't make it tonight. Something just came up. That's one down. The second member of the team, well, Rilani, I'm sorry, but I'm not feeling well today. You know, there's a COVID strain going around, so I don't want to expose myself to a lot of people. well, was getting discouraged. And there's just only two people that I could really rely on to come to this networking session with me. They ghosted me, did not even respond to my message asking them if we were still on for that networking session. I decided this is the best thing I could do for myself. So let me just go see what I can gain from this session. Made my way to the school, and I was at the parking lot, started seeing people going into the school, making their way to the foyer, and getting ready to make it on time for the event. Texted my one friend. I'm like, I don't know why I am here. Why are these people here? Why is there a lot of people? Why did a lot of people turn up for this networking session? Because as much as people might think that I love engaging and I'm good with making conversation, I get really terrified when it has to be intentional networking or striking conversations with people that I don't know from above. So the friend said, look, you've got nothing to lose. What you have to lose is your petrol from Pretoria to Johannesburg that you're just going to turn back and not have gained anything from tonight. So go in, wear your pretty smile, and let the night flow. I gathered all the strength in me, walked into the foyer. I registered on time because I was excited. I had my gift bag, getting really energized by everyone that was there, and also really getting energized by people that looked like me, people that looked scared, people look like they need someone to just break the ice. As I walked in, I spotted my classmate. And mind you, I'm doing my PDBA online with Gibbs. So we don't have the opportunity to meet each other face to face. But switching on your camera when you're in meetings really helps because people then get to really get to know you. Thanks, Gito, I said. I rushed to Gito to save the day. And as I was introducing myself to Gito, he's like, no, I can remember you. I've seen you from class. And we just started having a conversation. Two gentlemen joined us, and that's how the night started to unfold. A few moments later, I met industry colleagues, and also I met actually my colleagues from work. I work for a very large corporate, so knowing everyone in the organization becomes really tricky. At that moment, I realized that I've made the right decision by coming to the networking session. One of our key lecturers also recognized me from class and actually came up to me to speak to me, find out how the course was, and also encourage me in terms of finishing off what I am studying. But most importantly, give good compliments in terms of how I can use my services at the school. What have I learned from my experience in this networking session? Ladies and gentlemen, there is a couple of things that I've learned. Number one, go to a networking session with a goal in mind. Yes, I wanted to be out there. I want to build strategic relationships, but I did not have a breakdown of how I was going to do that. But also be open-minded, but knowing and meeting new people. I realized last night during the networking session that there are other people in the industry doing the same things. But moreover, during our conversations, I realized that I've got a lot to offer. However, by holding myself back and not bringing myself into this conversation, I am limiting my potential and limiting the strategic relationships that I can build with other people. I've also learned that deals or great conversations don't happen in the boardroom. So one needs to go out there to meet people that can connect you to your destiny. Also, enjoy the food and mingle. I love food. So yesterday was one of those. I'm like, I can really enjoy a good meal while I'm meeting good people that have got the same intentions that I have. But also what I've learned during this session is that in terms of my way making it to the session, have a community of people that will encourage you when you are scared. People that will say, go for it. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I've met people in my own company that I would have never met through even internal connections within my company, but I've met at the session yesterday. I've met people that could also connect me to my destiny. So I would like to challenge us today. Don't be scared to go out, meet new people, build those strategic relationships. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Whoop, whoop. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give her a round of applause. I'm not sure about going out there. Hey, you see this energy? I am such an introvert. It is not funny. I am one of those who finds a corner, stands there until the session is done. Then I'm out. Thank you so much for those nuggets, Frulani. I guess what I got out of your speech is that networking teaches one to be affable and to get out of their own shell. You know, people who are introverted extroverts like myself, we have the energy, we can do it, but I can only do it for 1.5 hours, and that's it. And at Toastmasters as well, because I know there's a minimum of 10 people who are willing to hear me speak and, you know, say whatever that's on my mind. Hence, when I come to Toastmasters, I'm already waiting. The energy is there. I don't even have to dig deep. But when I'm around people, I'm not so sure. Thank you so much. Without wasting time, ladies and gentlemen, let's go into speech evaluations first. I would like to call upon our first evaluator, who was Madam Anna Costa, evaluating Gabriel. Gabriel, we could not hear the end of your speech. However, Anna will give you feedback of what she caught of your speech. At Toastmasters, we believe that feedback is the breakfast of champions. This is the only place where I know that you present something, you get feedback almost instantly for you to take back and improve on yourself. Anna, over to you.
Thanks so much, Madam Toastmaster of the evening. And Gabriel Moshe, a very affable speaker, I have to say. I was thrilled to hear your speech, and I'm ever so sorry that we didn't get to hear the end of it, because it was really getting interesting. So this evening, I'd like to start off with what I saw, what I heard, and what I think you could improve on. What I saw was a young man, very eager to share with us his networking experience, most recent, a fraud or fake networking kind of thing, and then a more serious one, which unfortunately we didn't get to hear the end of. I loved the topic. We could all relate. I liked the humor. I liked the pace, the pacing, and I just enjoyed the fact that he stood very calmly and spoke to us. What I noticed is that his gestures were very calm. Although he clenched, or you clenched your hands, your arms were comfortable at your side and your gestures were not distracting in any way. You were quite succinct with your hand gestures and they were evenly paced. Which brings me to the way you spoke. Your pacing is very good. You spoke clear. We could hear your words. Only now and then, because of technology, of course, there was a little bit of garbleness, especially in the beginning. However, you came across very well spoken. What I think you could work on is with your technology, perhaps raising your device so that the focus is more on your face. That will show us your eyes and will get us more drawn in. Your topic drew me in and helped me hold that captivativeness, because your topic was absolutely superb. However, we could not always see your eyes. And that was because of the distance that you held yourself. So that's just a little glitch, which you could easily fine-tune for your next speech. And other than that, oh yes, one more thing. Your vocal variety. I think you could also challenge yourself to speak faster. For example, when you saw your friends racing at the Woolworths to get the same chocolates. And you could also raise your voice to show surprise that you're not the only one who wanted Ferrero Rocher, for example. And then you could pause and then move on to the more serious one and maybe start off a bit slower and softer and then come forward and speak louder. That, I think, would really make your speech more compelling. But other than that, superb. And over to you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening. Thanks so much.
Whoop, whoop. Thank you so much, Anna. That is my favorite thing to demonstrate as well in terms of camera positioning. Moshe, I don't know if you are still here. I see you. Sorry, Gabriel. But now I don't know how to work technology. So I'm in my bedroom, as you can see. I saw that you were probably in the office, so you could take a chair. I'm just going to show you my messy bedroom. This is a chair that I've put on the table, and then I normally take shoe boxes. So in the office, you can find rim boxes. Take shoe boxes and you position it nicely. If I don't have shoe boxes, like this one is not doing the things, I use books because I'm a reader. So I will do that. And then you have a super. We can see you from waist up, and you are able to now the freedom to come in and zoom out of your lens as you are presenting. And it gives you freedom for us to see your gestures and for you to interact with us in however way that you would like us to receive your speech. Thank you so much. Now we go to the second evaluation. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we said that we are all in this meeting going to evaluate Rulani. I will be the first one. Rulani, thank you for a beautiful speech that was affable. It taught me to get out of my shell. I'll try. And what I'm going to give you, ladies and gentlemen, if we can make it quick, because it's all of us. So I will give one thing that I would like you to work on. It's going to sound like I'm starting on the negative, but it's not, because I've already said the things that I've loved about your speech. And if one person can then give us something they liked, and another person something they can challenge you on, and then another something you can work on, and then a last like. So we want 3 likes, 2 work-ons, and 1 challenge. I'm going to start with something that you can work on. Rulani, that is perhaps standing as well, and your camera positioning. We could only see you from neck this way, from neck to the head. We could not see part of your shoulders, some of them, therefore your hand gestures were quite limited, and they could not make an impact of your speech. Who's next? Do I need to pick and choose? Let's speak to Rulani. I see you, Anna. Please go ahead.
Rulani, I loved your topic and your enthusiasm, and the fact that you drew on something that we can all kind of agree with, that we've experienced, been ghosted by taking the challenge and going all for it, and then nobody's behind you or alongside you. So that was absolutely brilliant. One thing perhaps you could work on, which is something I've learned, is to make your speech a bit shorter, maybe a paragraph shorter, so that you can work on word pacing, use silent moments. I love that. And therefore, you will fall within your 5 to 7 minutes without having to rush your ending. So that's my advice.
Thank you, Anna. And Malihla Honolo, please come to the podium.
Thank you very much. Well done, Rulani. We really enjoyed that. We were really there with you. One thing that I would really like to challenge you on is to maybe own your speech a bit more. I think we missed your eye contact because you seem to be reading. I could be wrong, but we missed your eye contact. You seem to be quite busy fiddling there, I think, with the PC. So I would really advise that it was a really great speech with really great content. So I would really advise that you maybe own it more and you are present with us and you engage your audience. But otherwise, affable speech, loved it.
Thank you so much, Malihle Honolo. Just to add, because time is against us, I see Mr. Timer over there. In owning your speech, to me, that translates to practice, practice, practice. Practice makes permanent. Rulani, when you know it, you own it, and we eat out of your palm as a speaker. Thank you so much. Now we will go to the table topics, ladies and gentlemen. Or if there is any other, I don't want to ukuvalela anyone ngaphandle. If there's anyone else, I see we have Utabile, we have Clementine, we have Nomfundo. Jessica, I haven't heard you speak. I know you were here right from the beginning. If you would like to say anything you liked about Rulani's speech, a challenge, I love challenges, or something that she can work on. Quick as Mr. Timer is timing us red. Okay, there are no hands. Thank you so much, everyone who gave Rulani feedback. Rulani, I hope you take that to heart and you go back to the drawing board and you improve your speech. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will go to the table topics, our favorite at home. Madam Anna, over to you.
Thanks so much, Madam Toastmasters, and I'm so happy again to be addressing our affable members who are about to speak. Our table topic segment this evening will elaborate on the theme of our meeting, which is celebrating Freedom Day. However, the focus will be on books, especially since it's also April International Book Day, and we celebrated this on the 23rd of April in South Africa. So I've got a few questions marked down to put forward to our affable members. And I do hope that we're going to have volunteers stepping forward and scrambling to answer them. Remember your timing, 2 minutes preferably, and to mention the word of the day, which is affable. And here we start. These questions are aimed to spark thoughtful reflections and discussions on the intertwined themes of freedom, literature, and the celebration of Freedom Day in South Africa. First question. I'm going to give the question first, and then I would like to put it through to our members or our attendees who would like to raise their hands and step up to the lectern and to answer. Question number 1. What does Freedom Day mean to you, and how do you celebrate it? What does Freedom Day mean to you, and how do you celebrate it? Over to you. We do have 3 attendees who have not spoken yet this evening, and one of our main objectives of Table Topics is to engage with everyone. So I would like to ask Tabile Shoba, who is a member of Visionary Readers Toastmasters, to introduce herself. Switch off your camera, unmute yourself, and just say hello and share with us what Freedom Day means to you. Tabile?
Good afternoon, everyone. Please confirm you can hear me.
Perfect. Loud and clear.
All right. Okay, thank you. Unfortunately, I won't be able to switch on my camera. I'm at home with my little one who's very busy around me. Don't want to give distractions, but happy to be here tonight. And may I please ask the second part of the question? I missed it. I must say, what does Freedom Day mean to me, as well as
how do you celebrate it? If you do or if you don't, you can just elaborate on that. what it means to you, and how do you celebrate it, or how would you like to see it celebrated?
All right. So for me, as a 41-year-old female Black, it means quite a lot in terms of my liberation. We all know the history and our past as South Africans, how historically disadvantaged we were. So it means a lot that this is a day that or time that I take time off to reflect of where I come from and where we come from as a collective, as a country, and the progress we've made and what it has afforded me in terms, and my family, in terms of the societal changes, the governmental changes, and the affable opportunities that have been afforded me since the dawn of the new democracy. And how I celebrate it is I normally try to have less activities on the day, just to pause and reflect. What I like to do is go back in time on the events, the major events that happened during the oppressed time, in terms of the massacres, the main big events. I like to take time on Freedom Day to just reflect on those so that we don't lose the meaning of what happened and what got us here. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you so much, Tabile. It's so wonderful to hear your voice, and applause to you for your thinking on your feet and for giving us such a clear message. I do agree. I think that history is something that we should ponder on and reflect. And when it's an opportunity for us to reflect on history, such as Freedom Day, we ought to not only do it ourselves, but encourage our young people to reflect and to give thanks and to remember, so that it stays fresh in all our minds for future generations, and to learn and not to make the same mistakes, or not to let the same thing happen again. So thank you so much for that. Thank you. And moving on, question number 2 for our affable members that are listening. Reflecting on South Africa's history, how do you think literature and books have contributed to the nation's journey towards freedom? Reflecting on South Africa's history, how do you think that literature and books have contributed to the nation's journey towards freedom? I think I'm going to ask again one of our members that have not yet spoken. Jessica, I know you've just re-entered the room. Jessica Nchlapo, are you available to answer? Please unmute yourself, ma'am.
Madam, topics.
Good evening, Jessica. Would you like me to repeat the question?
This could be, yes, please, if you don't mind. Thank you.
So, good evening, Jessica. Reflecting on South Africa's history, how do you think literature and books have contributed towards the nation's journey towards freedom?
Good evening, Madam Table Topics. I appreciate that there are heroes and people who were forward thinkers in writing down the history to leave as legacy for future generations to come, so that we collectively as South African, irrespective of our cultures, can understand who we are, where we come from, and how is it that we are not like, if I may use the word, as European people of descent. We have a lot of mixtures within our country. It is so important to be tolerable towards each other, because there were mixed relationships coming into being. People were born, and I believe them being born was purposed, fully purposed by God. He is the only one that allows for someone to be born or to be created within a woman's womb. And I think that is one of the things that we have not thought of very clearly, or even be aware of. Nobody should be, if I may use the word, to find the next person of a nuisance, because this is who you are, this is how you look, this is the relationship that you have with other cultures. Yes, our hearts need to be free to accept that we were invaded, Some people argue about many things, but I don't want to go into that detail. So when you as a reader take the time to read and understand, who are we as South Africans? We so proudly call ourselves the Rainbow Nation. So I appreciate that there's literature we can read. We need to take the responsibility to read and find out, to allow more acceptance with each other so that the next generation can be proud to build together a proud nation. When I look at people that I went to school with, where unfortunately their personalities weren't affable, people didn't understand. Some people were too ashamed to say, this is who we are. And why is it that people treat us like that? If outsiders outside our continent treat us differently, that maybe, although not acceptable, can be acceptable. But within our borders, there should be love and tolerance. There should be freedom of speech. There should be, and all those things need to consistently be reminded. And yes, I feel so bad that many people lost their lives. But now, with history books out there, we should ensure that we read. We don't need to run away from it. We need to accept this. This is what we were or what we went through, but we can move forward peacefully because we are wanting to make sure that we become the best of a country and a people in the very near future. I thank you, Madam Table Topics.
Thank you so much, Jessica. It's lovely to see you again. Thanks for gracing our screen and for being with us this evening. I do agree.
Thank you.
There is so much literature now that we can refer to and read and keep for future generations. There is so much to learn and to pass on, and definitely to remember and to move forward with positivity in our hearts as well as our heads. So thanks so much for that. And moving on. Third question. Could you share a memorable moment from a book or a story, be it written down or from someone you heard, family member or friend, that inspired you to value freedom even more? Please share a memorable moment from a book or a story written or told to you that makes you value freedom even more. I think there is one more person that has not contributed this evening. Nomfundo, are you available, Nomfundo?
Good evening. I am Madam Table Topics. The book I read where I was inspired more on freedom, I think it was a book of Steve Biko. I write what I like. I think the book opened my mind regarding the liberation, to understand what is liberation and who I am as a Black woman in South Africa as well. Because I think he shared the experience he was going through regarding the apartheid time, where things were difficult, especially to the Black nation in South Africa, and where he wanted us to be more liberated, because the oppression, during that time, it was so bad. And I think he was also emphasizing to say, as people in South Africa, we just need to be liberated so that we can have the clean mind, so that we can be able to think properly. And if you look at us now, you can tell to say, yes, we are partially liberated, because maybe it's because we did not look at it to say we need to clean our mind first before we can move to liberation. Because if you look at the current status now as it is happening, looking at our government, I don't think that we fully liberated, because the issues we have doesn't indicate that we are liberated. Because if we were liberated, we're going to be able to address the issues that we came with from the apartheid, and those issues were supposed to be addressed, but or they're supposed to be like maybe fully addressed, as now we are in 30 years on a democracy. But guess what? The issues we have currently, they more than the issues we had in the apartheid time. So the question I have, are we fully liberated? Thank you, Madam Table Topics.
Thanks so much, Nomfundo. Yes, you've given us a lot of food for thought. I think there's a lot of trauma, and there's still a lot to be addressed, unfortunately, but definitely something to think about and learn from and pray for. So thank you so much for that, Nomfundo. I'm also happy that you mentioned the book, I Write What I Like, because that's on top of my TBR, my to-be-read list. So I gave a smile when you mentioned the book. Do we have time for one more, or shall we wrap table topics up? Can
Mr.
anyone?
Timer, you can confirm.
Sorry, I'm muted. If it can be quicker, yes, we can.
Thank you so much, Mr. Timer. All right, so we'll do one more, and I'll open it up to the floor, because now everyone's had a chance, and one volunteer would be wonderful. So to wrap things up, how do you think access to education and literature has empowered individuals in South Africa to pursue their freedom? How do you think access to education and literature has improved individuals in South Africa to pursue their freedom? Please, let's have a volunteer now.
I would like to pick on Clementine. I haven't heard Clementine speak.
I was going to suggest that. Thank you. Clementine, are you able to unmute and speak?
Yes, I am. I'm able to unmute and speak. I have been taking notes during the meeting, so okay, I can speak on the topic. Can you please repeat the topic again? Madam Table Topics, you are
Anna,
muted.
you're on mute.
My apologies. Clementine, how do you think access to education and literature has empowered individuals in South Africa to pursue their freedom? Basically, has our access to education and literature empowered us to pursue freedom?
Okay, so how does access to education have influenced students to pursue freedom? Is that the question?
Yes, you can elaborate on that, or you can also mention access to books, not only education per se, but self-study, self-reading, if you'd like.
Okay. Speaking for myself, education has definitely improved my pursuit to freedom by empowering me with knowledge, critical thinking, and opportunities For example, I've been reading this book. This has helped me a lot. Things that I have not said to myself. This is a book that actually started my healing journey and helped me actually discover myself as a person. It has also unlocked me, myself to advocate for myself and also to be informed about the decisions that I make and my livelihood. It also enabled me to get out of the oppressive mindset and also showed me like societal progress in terms of me being able to know myself and also being able to know the things that I struggle with. And that actually gives me, that is the definition of freedom to me, to be able to know myself, to be able to think for myself and to think out of oppression, in a sense. Thank you, Madam Topics.
Thank you so much, Clementine. Thanks for sharing that with us and how you've unlocked and unleashed yourself, not only for your freedom of your mind, but also for your work and for your activities on a day-to-day basis. So thanks so much for sharing. I think affable members, speakers, Toastmasters, distinguished guests, and visitors, I think we've come to our end of Table Topics, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And having said that, thanks so much for your contributions, and over to you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening, so we can get onto our reports for our timer and our grammarian counter.
Thank you so much, Madam Table Topics. That was an affable session, yet challenging, taking us out of the comfort of our comfort. Speaking impromptu is never easy. This is where we use a lot of clutch words because we have to think. And sometimes you can even hear yourself thinking as you're trying to speak. Clementine, I could not see that book. I would like to know the book that you are reading so I can also add it into my to-read list. Now, I would like to call upon our general evaluator, Madam Rulani. Please come to the virtual podium, you and your team, and call out your team to give us reports, because this is the structure that Toastmasters International requires us to conduct these meetings. We are not just doing it as we see and please. However, there's a certain structure that we are confined to that we need to always follow. Over to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I'm hoping the team can bring some energy back. I feel like we're hitting a bit of a slump, but I do believe that the team that is going to come onto the podium will give us great feedback in terms of how we did with our grammar, as well as the timekeeper's report. I would first like to call Ms. Clementine Mashile to please give us the grammarian report. Clementine, over to you.
Thank you. The name of the book first is Things I Never Said to Myself by Duduzile Noeline Ngwenya. So it contains daily affirmations, love. So it basically guides you into healing yourself, your inner child, and also discovering yourself. So things that you can say daily to yourself. Right, back to the grammarian role. I want to congratulate everyone because you articulated yourself very well, but there are some few things that we all struggle with, myself included, like the use of filler words like and there's when you are trying to think of your next, like I just used it right now, when you are trying to think of your next sentence, right? And also the overuse of the word like in sentences. When you are speaking, you like to actually, it also acts as a filler word. So that was used a lot also in the meeting. You can opt for synonyms like prefer, lean towards, etc. We also had the overuse of the word because, and that is also something that most of us do fall short of. But next time in the meeting, we can try using words as a result, on account of, due to, in view of, and etc. Going to our word of the day, affable. This word was used quite a lot, and I will reference the people that used it. Our table topics master used it a lot today. And also Gabriel, yes, when you were giving feedback to Gabriel, you said Gabriel is an affable speaker. Malhlonolo also used the word. And back again to our table topics master, we use it again. Jessica also used the word. And we also had another thing that I noted is that when we speak when we want to finish quicker, we get tongue twisted. So some of you, I couldn't hear what you were saying, or you couldn't articulate the words properly because you're speaking very fast. So just a note on the next time, you can try to speak slower, which is very hard when you're trying and nervous and just trying to get a point across. It's something that I fall short of as well. Words that are not normally used in sentences or on a normal day-to-day. Jessica used the word nuisance. That is something that nobody really uses a lot. And our table topics master used the word, let me say it correctly, so that was really nice. Captiveness. Yes, captiveness. This is something that we also never really use, and also liberated on the theme of freedom. So this is everything that I have for the grammarial rule today. Back to you. Back to you,
Thank
Rilani.
you, Clementine. Thank you so much for schooling us. Very great insights and inputs there. I think. Also, we can read more to improve our grammar, which I've been slacking on, and really looking forward to just getting back into my reading. I would like to now call our area director, who is also taking the role of timekeeper for tonight, to give us the timekeeper's report. Over to you, Mr. Temkosi.
Thank you so much, my affable general evaluator. Now that our affable grammarian has given us the response, I don't have to use the word of the day affable tonight. Okay, I'm just gonna give all my reports for the speakers that have just taken the podium from speeches, table topics, as well as the evaluations. Okay, the speakers were supposed to speak between 6 and 7 minutes. Gabriel spoke for 6 minutes and 19 seconds. Rolani Mabina was supposed to speak for between 6 and 7 minutes. Spoke for 7 minutes and 49 seconds. She was over by 49 seconds. Just be careful there. Evaluations. Anna Costa, okay, they were supposed to evaluate for 2 minutes, between 2 minutes and 3 minutes. Anna Costa spoke for 2 minutes, 59 seconds. She was well within her time. And then we had various evaluators. They were supposed to evaluate between the same time, 2 minutes and 3 minutes. And they were well within the time, because the time when Sbongile asked for another person, we went over by 15 seconds, but I didn't count that. So that was well within time. Well done for that. During table topics, we had 4 people who spoke. They were supposed to speak within this range, 1 minute and 2 minutes. And then we had our first speaker, Tabile Shoba. She was well within her time, 1 minute, 46 seconds. Then we had Jessica Nsapo, 3 minutes and 8 seconds. Just be careful there. You were just 1 minute and 8 seconds over. In speech contest, there can be that can work to your disadvantage. Nomfundo spoke for 3 minutes, 18 seconds. So just be careful there as well. Clementine, she did very well within the time of 1 minute, 54 seconds. But overall, I think we are doing well with time. Thank you so much. Back to you, Madam. You're muted.
I was on mute. Yes. Thank you to our timekeeper for really keeping us honest. I could see a lot of us when the red screen went on. We saw flames and we just wanted to rush through so that we are not over our time, but it is something that we really need to watch. Thank you so much for keeping honest in that regard. I will then now just give a general evaluation of the meeting from what I've observed from today. I think really love the camaraderie the club has demonstrated tonight. I always say this is my second home. Although the word affable doesn't count anymore, but really affable meeting different people and the new members of the club really felt great to contribute and also free to contribute tonight. Sometimes you would get into meetings and you just feel like, yo, I don't belong. I just rather keep to myself. But I think everyone managed to contribute and to learn something from today's meeting. We had a warm welcome from the acting president, although he had unfortunately could not join us for the rest of the meeting, but that was great. I think what I really loved is in terms of when he reiterated what Toastmasters is about. Because I do think sometimes we think we're just here, we're speaking, but we form part of a bigger organization which has got its values. And also from that, we draw our mission, we draw our vision, we draw our goals that we drive throughout the year from the Toastmasters International brand. So I think that was really great as well. And I love the fact that the Toastmaster of the day, the table topics master, managed to get everyone involved and engaged. Because when you're online and people have their videos off, you're not sure if they're lying on the bed, are they watching TV, or what they're doing. So it's very difficult because you don't have that feedback. You don't get that instant feedback. Whereas in with physical meetings, you can really see when someone is falling asleep and you can, like nudge them under the table to wake up and contribute. So really loved how the table topics master brought everyone into the room and made sure that we all contribute. And really, even those that have not been speaking, actually, I really loved their contribution and learned so much from them. And they didn't want to stop talking, the ones that were not talking in the first place. So if it wasn't for Mr. Timekeeper, I think Jessica would have, gone. But it was great. And we all didn't, see the time passing by because it was just really that rich and that great. So thanks for managing that for all of us. I think not to repeat what the grammarian and the timekeeper already alluded to in the feedback, I would just like to encourage the team. I know we just well over a year, but in terms of the starting time of the meeting, that's key in terms of having when you have new guests and you have visitors and it's already 6:10, you haven't started a meeting and you're still sorting the roles out, you're still trying to find your feet. That can really be discouraging for people that are looking to join the club. But also I think setting more visitors, because we understand time, we're already Toastmasters, and we just understand that you have to start at 99. But also there was no one that welcomed everyone in a sense to just let us know that calm down, we're still sorting our house, we're putting our house in order, don't worry, don't go away, don't disappear. So I think that's maybe something that we could look to improve. But also, I wanted to also just ask, you don't have to answer me right now, but the registration process, if that's necessary, because I think that can put someone off if you're asking me what's something interesting about you. I'm like, yo, I'm not even attending this meeting because why do they want to know? It can feel a bit intimidating for someone that's new and doesn't know from above so what happens at Toastmasters. So maybe reconsider that registration process, because I think that also takes time for people when people want to log into the meeting. They have to go through that first and then only be let into the meeting. Also, the agenda might seem as something that's just there, but it's very key as well in Toastmasters because that guides what you do and what you'll be focusing on for the day, right? And for example, the prepared speeches, I didn't see that in the agenda. And also the roles that were there were not also confirmed. So I think that's something we can look to improving. And my last point in terms of things that we can really work on as Toastmasters, there's a saying that everyone that's a Toastmasters will tell you that they're shy and they don't like speaking. But after someone spoke, the evaluator speaks. The Toastmaster starts evaluating. Before you introduce a role, you just want to talk about the role, but there's someone that's actually going to come and introduce what that role entails. So I think we just need to be cautious of that. If you are introducing the grammarian, I would like to welcome Ms. Clementine Mashile, who's our grammarian for today. She will be giving us what her role entails. Ms. Clementine. And she does a role. When she comes back, I don't have to repeat what she said. I just merely continue with the program because that's where we lose our time, and then we find that there's a lot of repetition in the meeting. But I think overall, we really enjoyed being here, really challenged me as someone who's a physical attendee. I'm like, yo, what's happening? What's Zoom? Am I too close? Am I too far? I don't know what's happening, but really a great challenge. And it was really great to be here, and hoping today we could add value to this meeting. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster. You are on mute.
Technology. Please, Roland, invite us to your in-person meetings, man. I've never been to one. Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator, for that feedback, and we take it to heart. We will go back and try and implement the things that we need to work on and keep honing the things that we are doing very well in the club. Thank you so much for that feedback. Ladies and gentlemen, my time ends here as well. And I would like to call upon our AD, in absence of our IPP, to close the meeting for us. Over to you, Themkosi.
Thank you so much, Sibongile. It's always nice to see you, doing your thing that you do best. I think all the clubs that you are visiting, you always do a great job. Thank you for that. And yeah, thank you so much to all the members who are present tonight. I see we are about 9, 10. So that's, that is a great attendance, but we can do better. Some clubs you find that there are 3 people, and yeah, I commend you for making sure that the meeting continues irrespective of what's happening. We can have our network problems, we can have all the challenges, but the meetings must continue because Toastmasters has given us a platform to improve ourselves. And I don't want to repeat what has been said by our general evaluator because I'm still going to do my report. And I'm going to state that you made me a timer during my visit. And I'm going to write that down too. But yeah, thank you. It was a good meeting, and I just want to encourage that let's soldier on. Let's continue. This is a platform where we are free and not to be judged, but to be encouraged and to be, to get that feedback that is constructive all the time, even if you know that that was bad from me, but you still get good feedback that will build you up. I just want to also remind you that if you haven't checked as what's the name of your club? Visionary Readers Club. You have 9 points now, TCP points, and that is great. And you just need one more point to have 10 out of 10. That is 100%. I'm sure you will get that. But for you to get that, you need to get, I think, 3 members more. So I think your focus now must be on education as well as getting those 2-3 members. I'm sure that you can do that within the time frame that we have now before our term come to an end in June. So you are one of the clubs that are performing very well, and I'm so happy for that. Yeah, I don't have many things to say because of the time. I want to visit the other day when I don't have to do anything serious. But yeah, there are so many clubs that are pulling us this direction and that direction. So I can't make any promises, but thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you again. And I look forward to see the members that were visiting the club coming back again and inviting us to their clubs as well. Thank you. Back to you, Madam. Okay, I'm supposed to close the meeting, but I'm just gonna give back to Anna so that if I left anything, any announcements, so that she can make those announcements. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. AD, and we're honored to have had you here this evening. And thanks so much for filling in the affable role that you did as timer this evening. Thanks for wrapping things up. Just a mention that our next meeting at Visionary Readers Toastmasters Club is the second Friday of May, which is the 10th of May. So if any of you would like to come back over and join us as a spectator or as a role player, even your speech, you're very, very welcome. We look forward to it. And if you have your meetings, please do share with us and we would love to join you as well. So thanks so much for that. I don't know if anyone else would like to add. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks so much. Good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Good night. Bye, Jessica.